Good morning students, welcome back to the lecture 10 of chapter 4. In lecture 9 we have discussed how we can find the equation of a straight line passing through a given point on a plane. Okay, it leads to an idea that every straight line should represent a linear equation. Okay, if you draw any line on a plane, then it must represent a equation which is in the form of linear equation. Okay, in the form ax plus by plus c is equal to 0 or ax plus by is equal to c. Okay, so every straight line will represent a linear equation. So with this idea, today we are going to discuss about the equation of x-axis and y-axis. So let's get started. Okay, as you know from the chapter 3 that in a Cartesian coordinate system there are two axes. Okay, the horizontal axis is known as x-axis and the vertical axis is known as the y-axis. Okay, now this x-axis is a straight line or not? Yes, it is a straight line. Since it is a straight line, as you know, any straight line represents a linear equation. Similarly, since x-axis is also a straight line, then it must represent a linear equation. Understood? Similarly, you can see y-axis. Y-axis is also a straight line. It means it must also represent a linear equation. Okay? So we understood that x and y axis are straight line, right? So they will represent a linear equation. So they will or must, not will, must represent a linear equation, right? Now we are going to find what is the possible linear equation of x-axis and the possible linear equation for y-axis. So first we will calculate the equation of x-axis. Okay, so let me give you some points first. Suppose I am taking some points like this: 2, 0, 1, 0, minus 3, 0, 3, 0, okay, minus 4, 0, and 4, 0. Okay, so these are 6 points. Okay, now we will going to represent those points on the Cartesian coordinate system. So let's represent them. First point is 2, 0. So 2, 0 means what? First understood what? 2, 0 means here the y coordinate is 0. And as you know, if the y coordinate of a point is 0, then this point should lie on the x-axis. So this point must lie on the x-axis and towards the positive direction of x-axis. So this is the point representing 2, 0. Right? Next point is 1, 0. Here also y coordinate 0. So it should lie on x-axis. So represent it. This is 1, 0. 3, 0. So represent this point, represent 3, 0. And minus 3, 0. This is minus 3, 0. 3, 0 and minus 4, 0. This point represent minus 4, 0. Finally 4, 0. This point represent 4, 0. So we will represent all these points on the number line. Then what are the similarities that you can see from all these 6 points? What is the most important similarities that you see? In all these points are lying on which axis? X-axis. All these 6 points lie on x-axis. Why? Because for all these points the y coordinate is 0. So for all these points the y coordinate is 0. That's why all those points lie on the x-axis. So we got an idea that on x-axis the y coordinate must be 0 for all the points, whatever the points you can take. If you take a point here, okay, here also you get the y coordinate to be 0. If you take a point here, here also the y coordinate is 0. If you take a point here also, at the origin also, Though there is the x coordinate 0, but you get the y coordinate also 0. So any point taking on or any point representing on the x axis should give the y coordinate to be 0. Hence, the equation of x axis is y is equal to 0. Understood? The equation of x axis is y is equal to 0. Why? Because every point on x axis the y coordinate is 0. So write it. Every point representing or represented on y axis has the y coordinate to be 0, right? That's why the equation of x axis is y is equal to 0. This is the equation of x axis. Understood? Okay. So it is clear now. We can easily find the equation for the x axis. Now we will go for the finding equation of y axis. So let's move. And now we are going to find the equation for the line y axis. Okay. Since the y axis is a straight line, so it must represent a linear equation. Okay. So let's find out its equation. For this, let me tell you some points. Suppose I am taking some points 0, 1, 0, 3, 0, minus 2, 0, minus 3 and 0, minus 4. Okay. So these are 5 points and we are going to represent all those points on the Cartesian coordinate plane. So let's represent them. So the first point is 0, 1. 0, 1 lies where? See, here the x coordinate is 0. It means it must lie on the y axis, right? So let's represent 0, 1. So here 0, 1, 0, 1. Let's represent 0, 3. Here also x coordinate is 0, so it must lie on the y axis. So this point represents 0, 3. 0, minus 2. It should lie on y axis but in the negative direction. So 0, minus 2. This 0, minus 3. And this point is 0, minus 4. Now all those points are being represented on the Cartesian coordinate system and you see that all those points should lie on which axis? On y axis. That means there is a similarity among all these 5 points. What are the similarities? What is the most important similarity among those 5 points? You can see in all these points which coordinate is 0? The x coordinate is 0. So for all these points the x coordinate is 0. If you take any point on the y axis, any point here also, you get the x coordinate to be 0. That is why the general equation or the general linear equation of y axis is x is equal to 0. Okay. So the equation of y axis is x is equal to 0. Why? Because on the y axis all the coordinates, all the points having x coordinate is 0. That is why the equation of y axis is x is equal to 0. Understood now how we can find the equation for x axis and for y axis. For x axis the equation is y is equal to 0. Why? Because the y coordinate is 0 here. For the y axis the equation is x to be 0. Why? Because the x coordinate is 0 here.